Hey everybody, Joe here. It's been a while. Work, life, travel, all the above. Haven't really had much to really necessitate a video. Anything firearm related, it's like backordered 1,000 years. So we're going to talk watches. If you watched, or if you didn't watch it, but if you saw the title, you know where we're going with this. And we're going to talk Grand Seiko. Is it worth the hype? In my opinion, short, yes. And hold on real quick. I'm being distracted because I brought a glass over to sit down with and pour a glass of whiskey while I did this. Oh, what do I want? You know what? Let's finish this off. I think this is just about empty. Got some Redbreast, small batch. Yeah, there's just enough there for a taste. And this bottle is done. Oh yeah. Luckily I have another bottle stashed away. So that's what we'll be sipping while we make this video. And I promise I'll try to keep it short, sweet, to the point. Because I know I have a tendency to ramble. But we'll try to keep everything short and condensed. So, damn, that's good. So Grand Seiko. I've been curious about them, checked them out, read up on them, watched a million videos. Been curious about, getting my hands on one, maybe buying one for a year and a half. But I wanted to wait until I actually could get my hands on one. And there's not a lot of places around, especially in the Seattle area, where you can go easily look at them. But way back when, a million years ago, back in September, October of 2021, we were vacationing in Italy and France, and I happened upon a Grand Seiko store. Now, there's there's an avenue, if you will, a boulevard in Paris that is kind of near the Louvre and what else? The Louvre and something else, the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. And there's some square there. Anyway, there's a big green pole or a big green pillar right in the center of this square. And I can't remember the name of it because I don't know French. By the way, France is beautiful, or Paris is beautiful and all that. So I'll just preface that. So we were walking, and I was looking for a watch in particular, kind of the whole trip. Every kind of watch shop I passed, whether we were in Italy or in France, if I saw a watch shop, I'd kind of look. And specifically, it was a Mito Ocean Star, which I found. That's for another video. But that's the watch I'm wearing at the moment. So there was a Grand Seiko store, and it's actually kind of kitty corner to the Ritz. Now, on this street, like I said, there's all types of watch shops. But every big manufacturer seems to have a shop there, whether it's whether it was Patek, Rolex, Breitling, Constantine, they're all there. So if you're looking for a particular model watch and you happen to be in Paris, there's a place to go if you're a watch person. It's like watch heaven. They're everywhere. But I was really curious about finally getting my hands on a Grand Seiko. So I walked in, took a look at a few models. I was really particularly curious about the GMT sport watches because I like sport watches. I like GMTs. I like divers. But I was very much interested in this particular one. And once I picked it up, I was like, okay, I get this. I understand this. This isn't just, it's not just hype. There is something there. Just in the feel, the look, there's substance there. Yeah, if my wife wasn't standing there giving me the, don't you fucking dare. If she wasn't giving me that look, I probably would have walked out with it. But I waited until the beginning of the year as a birthday gift to myself. And this is what we ended up with. And this is the SBGE 255, the 255 designating the blue. And I was very torn between the blue and the green. I'm not a big green watch guy, but the color of green that Grand Seiko uses on their dials, it's pretty fabulous. So if you're a green person and you like green watches, check out the Grand Seiko. But anyway, so GMT sport watch, 40.5 millimeter diameter, stainless steel, ceramic bezel, beautiful blue dial, beautiful hands all around. Now there is 5 hands on this watch. There is the second hand, which is doing its nice smooth sweep via the spring drive. And if you don't know what a spring drive is, go Google it, look at all the cool animations and diagrams. It's basically a hybrid between a quartz watch and a mechanical watch. It's taking the best of both, combining them, and making something pretty special. So go check all that out. I'm not going to waste time explaining it all. But you have your GMT hand, your hours, minutes, and then you also have a little tiny hand hidden away there on your little gauge, and that's your power reserve for your spring drive. Pretty slick is you really don't have to wind the watch, and when you wind it, it basically the little meter will go up, and that how tight your spring is around. But if you wear it within half hour, it'll wind the rest of the way. It's actually a very quick winding on the wrist. But that's what, we'll get to that. So this is the watch itself. It's a GMT. It acts like a GMT, does everything a GMT watch does. That's not anything that, if you're into GMT watches or sport watches, there's nothing groundbreaking there. But the spring drive is pretty amazing. Definitely check that out. It's worth a look separately. But where this differs from its closest competitor, and we'll get to them in a second, the maker that everyone compares Grand Seiko to, the fit and finish on this is something otherworldly. It feels so nice to touch, feel, hold, caress, all that. It is just beautiful. The case finishing, everything is just beautiful. There's no sharp edges. There's no pointed edges. There's just none of that. And something that nobody has talked about that I've noticed or seen is the polishing on this watch. And the Japanese have a word for it. I believe it's called zaratsu. I think that's what it is. Don't kill me if I mispronounced it. But it's a type of hand finishing that they do, hand polishing. And I will tell you this, the polishing on this watch is just absolutely beautiful. Let me see if I can get the zoom. There we go. Now, I've been wearing this watch for 2 weeks, and it has not gotten beat up at all. Now, this area here on the side of the case, that's highly polished. You come around the front, this edge up here is polished, and then it's brushed. Same with the bracelet. It's mostly brushed with some polished links in there. Little pieces of the links are polished. And then the clasp area is brushed. Same on this side. Case back, not polished, brushed. But the fit finish on this, now as far as I know, Grand Seiko makes just about every component in-house. They assemble in-house, they hand finish in-house. Some of the bigger guys, they're hand assembling and whatnot, but a lot of the work is being done by machines. And that's purely for production numbers. Some of the big boys are pushing out close to 1 million watches a year. Grand Seiko is in the, I believe, 30,000 production range, 30,000 a year. So they're not pushing out massive numbers. But because they're not doing that, their finishing is just on another level to other watches in their price category. And not just forget about just their price category. If you're talking, say, 10,000 and under, that's what you're buying. But the value you're getting is almost like double that. You're starting to get into like the $20,000-$25,000 watch value as far as the finishing, the fit, just the amount of effort that goes into them. That's kind of what you're getting, but you're way underpaying for it. So, it's just something very beautiful. Now, this is a sport watch, and sport watches might not be your thing. You might be into more dressy watches or just nice, like their Snowflake. Everyone knows the Grand Seiko Snowflake. If you get a chance to see one, look at the dial. I mean, it's like a piece of art. They're beautiful. The dials on Grand Seikos that's their strong suit. They're gorgeous. So kind of going back to where people will go with their mind to compare this is Rolex. Now, whether you have a Grand Seiko diver, that's going to compare to a Submariner. In this case, it would be a GMT Master II. And we have one. It's upside down. GMT Master II. Now, these are both roughly 40 millimeter. They're both roughly the same weight. They both do exactly what GMT watches do. Where they differ, this one has a automatic movement. This one's got a spring drive. The other difference and the selling point, from my point of view, is the fit and finish. The finishing on the Grand Seiko is, I've already said it, it is next level, next level compared to this. Now, I'm not poo-pooing this. I'm not saying anything bad about it. It's my watch. I love this watch. But the amount of hand finishing, the amount of just extra that goes into the finishing on this is very, very obvious. It's not a little obvious. It's a lot obvious. It's the difference between if you're handling $1,000 watch, a tool watch, of course, $1,000 tool watch, then you handle something like this. The differences are very obvious. Now, you handle this compared to this, the differences are very obvious, but you're spending a lot less than this to get a lot more, in my opinion. I think that's where Grand Seiko is worth a look. I think that's their strong suit right now, is that for thousands less than you can get into a GMT Master II, for thousands less, I believe you're getting more watch. And with that extra cash, go buy another really nice watch. Take a vacation, whatever. You're saving so much money and getting so much more. And in a way, you're getting more exclusivity, because last I looked, I think Rolex is making almost 1 million watches a year, something like that, 750,000, somewhere there. They're making, Grand Seiko's making 30, 35,000. Chances are you're not going to see someone else wearing a Grand Seiko in the wild. If you do, you know it's going to be legit. If you see people out in the world wearing Rolexes, whether it be a Submariner or it's probably real. There's a good chance it's not. So that's something to take into account too, is nobody's copying these. So that's kind of nice in the sense that, you know what you're wearing is legit. You know what other people are wearing is legit. There's no copies out there. It's kind of nice in a weird way. I don't know. Some people might not care, whatever. Beyond that, I mean, it's like I said, they're both great. They're different in some ways, but as far as when talking Grand Seiko, everyone immediately wants to jump to Rolex, and this is as apples to apples as you can get. And I'm being as honest as I can in saying that if I had, let's just say 10 grand to spend, and these were both $10,000 watches, I'd get the Grand Seiko without question. But the reality is that this is way over 10 right now in today's money, and this is a fair amount under 10 right now in today's money. So pound for pound, dollar for dollar, I think Grand Seiko's doing some pretty wonderful things with their watches, and they're definitely worth a look. So that's it with that. I think the only place really, or the only areas that I'd like to see improved, or I was kind of disappointed, was no quick set on the date. But I think most GMTs don't have that. If I remember right, something with the movement because of the GMT, and then quick setting the date and whatever. But no quick set on the date. The clasp could be a little bit more robust and nicer. It's just your typical one pin. It's fine. I haven't had any issue with it, but it would be cool if it was a little bit more robust. And then the box. It's not terrible, but you get your cardboard box. They have this really nice parchment paper in there. If you look at that, it kind of looks like frosted glass or something. If you get one of these, be careful with this paper. I accidentally ran the back of my knuckle across it just by mistake. It sliced me clean open. It's like a katana. It's like a samurai sword on the edge. It's really firm but thin, and it sliced right through me like I was nothing. So something to note. Be careful. Then you just do this. Lift your box up and out. In the bottom of this guy, you got your little foam thing deal, and then you have your instruction booklet. It's fairly thick. It covers multiple models in basically every language. Then your warranty card. Yeah. So that's that. And so the only thing that I've heard people complain about is really the boxes. And you get this kind of like leather feel skin. It is made in Japan, which I guess is kind of cool. And then you open it up. There's this hard border, this gray border against the navy blue. I don't know if it's wood or plastic. It feels like it's plastic. So we'll just say it's plastic. Then this nice padded logo on the back. That's, okay, fine. Pretty standard stuff. Your watch pillow, my links that I took off, and then your little watch tag, model number, made in Japan. But that's it. I mean, it's not really there's no frills to the box. And I guess there doesn't really need to be. Because really what matters is what's in the box. I mean, most of us are just going to take the box, put it in a closet. You're never going to see it again. That's me. I don't really sell watches, so I'm probably not going to look at this box again for many years until we move and I go, oh yeah, there's where I put all the boxes. So that's that. So, but otherwise, it's fine. The box is fine. I get people's complaints, but whatever. What really matters is what's inside. And what's inside, really nice watch. So check it out. I would recommend it if you're in the market, if you're curious about it. And I'm just a normal guy with, sometimes I have some extra money to throw at silly things. So if you're a person that has some extra money to throw at some silly things, it's possibly worth throwing your money at. So to buy a silly thing. But that's it. Comment, like, subscribe if you like. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm just doing this for fun. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah. Subscribe if you like. If not, leave a comment. Ask a question too if I forgot anything or if I didn't cover something that you want to know about. I will do my best to get back to you. But otherwise, that's it. I'm going to finish my drink and go relax. I'm going to wait for my sushi to show up. We'll talk to you guys later.